Good evening, class of 2020, family, friends, faculty, and staff. My name is Karen Wright, and I serve as the program director for the PA program and will serve as your mistress of ceremonies. The White Coat ceremony is held annually to celebrate the transition from clinical training to professional practice. Family and friends, these graduates have endured countless lectures, labs, standardized patient encounters, write-ups, oral presentations, exams, and patient rounds over the past 2 years. Outside of the academic rigor they committed numerous acts of service to the community, advocated for their patients and the profession they chose to pursue, and led with dignity. There have been challenges and triumphs, but through the good and bad, they have relied on classmates, friends, and family, and even faculty to lean on for support. This is the culminating moment, class of 2020, to celebrate your many individual and collective accomplishments. Although we are forced to conduct this virtually, we will not let the pandemic stop us from celebrating this wonderful occasion. So class of 2020, over the next hour, we will celebrate your accomplishments. You deserve it. It has been an arduous journey, but well worth it. You are one step closer to reaching your ultimate goal of joining the ranks of this prestigious profession. At this time, leadership from the School of Medicine and Health Sciences will bring you greetings. You will have the pleasure of hearing from Dr. Barbara Bass, Vice President for Health Affairs, Dean of the School of Medicine and Health Sciences, and Chief Executive Officer of the GW Medical Faculty Associates, followed by Dr. Remer Bouchard, Senior Associate Dean, and Mara Polanski, Chair of the Department of Physician Assistant Studies. At this time, let us welcome Dean Bass.
Good afternoon, all. Thank you, Dr. Wright, for that introduction. I gotta say, I've been sitting here watching these pictures of this class. Boy, you all are full of life, full of energy, world travelers, fun colleagues. It was just refreshing to see you all together. So I'm glad I got here to see that, and I get to know a little bit about you as the full living people that you are. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing those wonderful pictures with all of us. So I'm pleased to join the faculty and staff from the PA program and congratulating each of you, each and every one of you, on arriving at this wonderful and exciting day, when you don your long white coats for the first time, and to congratulate you in advance for your graduation ceremony to be held tomorrow. You are tremendously accomplished, and we are truly proud. We are truly proud of you. We all recognize that today is a recognition of your lived experience of hard work, your commitment to helping others, and your passion to help people live longer, healthier, and happier lives. While it's an important day for you, it's also important to all those other people I saw in all those pictures, and probably some that weren't in the pictures, who've stood with you and behind you throughout your journey to this day in your career, including these last 2 years here at GW. Namely, of course, all of those loved ones and dear friends with whom you've shared your life. As you know, they are your biggest supporters, and I know this day is a great day, a day of great pride for them as well. So celebrate that together. To the faculty and staff of the GW School of Medicine and Health Sciences PA program, thank you for your exceptional contributions in raising our PA program to the position of one of the most highly rated in our nation. This is a source of great pride for all of us. I know I speak for our students in saying that your efforts and your leadership in our national PA organizations have truly shaped the field of PA studies. The program is truly centered on the success, is truly central to the success of our School of Medicine and Health Sciences. I thank you, the faculty, for your dedication and your commitment to excellence. As I've said to other graduating groups this week, this event doesn't look like the PA White Coat celebrations of the past. or other celebrations we are having this week to celebrate the accomplishments of those who have worked so hard and studied so hard these last many years. And while we're not physically together, it's still a very special day, one to be celebrated, particularly during this historic time in medicine. What a magnificent time you have to enter the community of healthcare providers in our nation. We pause today and tomorrow to recognize you for the accomplishments that you've already made and the contributions we know you will make in your professional lives in the years ahead. It's going to be a great run. As you put on your long white coat, you become a leader in the eyes of our community. Your white coat marks you as someone who will be relied upon for guidance, for wisdom, and for comfort. You are fully prepared to join the healthcare teams that you will not only lead during this current crisis, but in the many years ahead. You've learned from some of the nation's leaders in your new profession, as I'm sure you know, such as Howard Straker, who serves as president currently of the PAEA Board of Directors. Lisa Alexander, who served as the president of the Physician Assistant Foundation Board of Trustees, and Senior Associate Dean Reema Bushart, who serves as the Director at Large on the Physician Assistant Education Association Board of Directors, all exceptional leaders. And while entering the profession is indeed exciting and perhaps daunting, I am confident that you are ready. I saw those pictures just now. You are ready to begin your impactful, meaningful, and rewarding careers, caring for others with your intelligence, your training and experience, your generosity, and your commitment to equity and humanity. And after you graduate tomorrow, I encourage you to stay in touch with us. Be an active member of our worldwide alumni network, stay engaged with your professors, and of course, your dear classmates. And keep us up to date on your accomplishments. We want to take pride in your achievements and to see our communities benefit from your presence. So congratulations. Wear those new long white coats with pride. I know you will do so, and I wish you all the best in all of your future endeavors. Good day.
Hi, I hope you can hear me okay. Karen, is my sound okay?
Fine.
Terrific. Well, thank you, Dean Bass. We're honored to have you as a part of the ceremony and a part of the school. And it is really exciting for me to see all my new colleagues, PAs, that are going to be out joining this workforce in the days ahead. We're so proud of all that you've done, and we're particularly proud of the character that you've demonstrated as you've done it. For PAs, as you know, we take a very important and intimate role in the lives of the patients and families we care for. It's a great privilege, and they trust us and they depend on us to support and nurture and hear them. And I think one of the things that impresses me most about your class and what I have heard from your faculty is that you're ready for that responsibility, and you're ready to support and lead them into healthier lives, arm in arm, respecting their stories and their narratives, and also caring for every patient, regardless of where they come from or what their story is, with compassion and respect. And so I'm tremendously excited to welcome you as colleagues. I want to also say congratulations and thank you to all the family and friends, just as Dean Bass shared, who have supported you and made this moment possible. And I hope you'll give them good hugs or virtual kisses or whatever you're allowed to do right now, and share your thanks for all that they have sacrificed for this opportunity for you. I want to thank you as well, the students, for really showing not only are you flexible, but you are uber flexible. And in these last few couple months, when your faculty and staff and you had to come together and really think in innovative ways, these steps to prepare you as competent for practice. And I just want to thank you for being compassionate, for being caring and flexible. And I'm so thrilled to see the work that has been done, and to see you graduating today and not delayed or further months ahead before we can have you join our profession. I'm really grateful for that. This COVID pandemic has changed every moment and every aspect of American life. And so I know your faculty and I and Dean Bass are heartbroken not to be able to be with you in person today and to get to meet your friends and family. but I love the pictures, and it's so great to see you and know that we can share this moment virtually together. And just a last thought is, you know, we have focused on the care of people that are acutely ill right now, or that had urgent and emergent medical conditions. And by and large, our health systems have had to decrease significantly those types of care that maybe could wait a little bit to try to preserve the health and wellness of our community and our workforce. But as we move past this pandemic, I want you to be prepared. There are thousands of patients in our community and millions around the country that have wasted days and months of necessary care, and they will have suffered during this period. Chronic illnesses and physical and emotional injury and others will plague the individuals in our community, and they're going to need you. They're going to need your care. They're going to need your compassion, and they're going to need your support. So it's going to be a busy year. Let me just share that with you. But I know that you have all that is needed within you to do that with great competency and with great precision. And just let you know that we are thrilled that you chose GW as your home, and hope you'll consider us your family for the rest of your life. And we take this moment and share with you great pride in your accomplishments. And we know that you will represent your university in the very best way. And that also brings us enormous pride. So I wish you good luck in your careers, and hope to hear many, many stories in the weeks and months ahead, and look forward to getting to know each of you better. Thank you, Dr. Wright.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. It's so wonderful to see so many great faces. Today is truly an exciting celebration of the accomplishments of our students, their dedication and resilience, and the support of their families in their journey. I'd also like to thank Dean Bass and Dean Burchard for their advocacy and support in ensuring that all of the students were actually able to graduate today, and acknowledge the enormous dedication that was required of our faculty and staff to innovate and implement curricular changes on a moment's notice. But I'd also like to take this moment to ask you to reflect with me on the future of the PA profession and your careers within it. As I'm sure everyone knows, the first 50 years of the PA profession was one in which the PA model was really transformed to one where PAs were trained to assist physicians in the practice of medicine, to one in which PAs practice medicine, working side by side with their colleagues to deliver high quality patient care. Those who went before you spent the last 50 years expanding the model for the PA profession and the educational system so that PAs really do have the necessary competencies to provide quality medical care and to ensure that our patient outcomes are comparable to that of other professionals. However, the last 2 months, I think, have really highlighted the enormous challenges of our current healthcare system, resulting in disparate outcomes for so many of our patients and communities. So I'd like to challenge you today to consider the next 50 years of the profession and your role within it, and to consider that the PA model must again transform. Beyond the traditional model of medical practice in which PAs actually develop and implement and utilize complementary skills that many of you have already, and others that you will probably need to adopt in the future of your career. Areas such as public health, quality improvement, healthcare management and administration, and teaching and education. So that PAs become a unique healthcare professional that not only provides high quality medical care to their patients, but who help to transform the healthcare system in ways that will truly impact health outcomes for our population as a whole. So congratulations on your accomplishment, and I look forward to sharing this journey with you.
Thank you, Drs. Bass and Bouchard and Professor Polanski, for your warm welcome. I think that the family and friends, if they didn't know what a PA did prior to their students arriving here at GW and going through the journey with them, they certainly know what we do as a whole. So at this time, I would like to invite Garnetta Gonzalez, co-president of the James K. Tolton Society, a student chapter of the American Academy of Physician Assistants, to present our student speaker.
All right. Okay. Mr. Joshua Rosenthal, given the affectionate nickname Dad Josh, was voted tonight's student speaker. And if there is a voice more recognizable in our class, I doubt we could name it. We have had the privilege of watching Mr. Rosenthal become the PA, but also revel in his first years of fatherhood. His stories and photos could brighten any mood, and watching the joy on Josh's face light up when he spoke of Gabby was enough to make you forget you'd been sitting in the same chair for the last 8 hours. Long before Mr. Rosenthal took on one of the most challenging and prestigious roles known as fatherhood, he was committed to serving other young lives through teaching. As we progressed through the curriculum, it became clear that Mr. Rosenthal lives a life dedicated to social justice. He had keen insights about social determinants of health, insights that were based on his service with AmeriCorps Teach for America and working as a science teacher in the Miami-Dade County Public School System. PA school has pushed us all to the edges of our sanity, emotional stability, and patience. It has brought out sides we did not know we had and released demons we thought were long ago banished. We have all grown through this experience, individually and as a class. In the middle of the academic challenges, my family struggled with difficult health news, and for whatever divine reason, the person who always seemed to catch me at my lowest in the hallways or unlocking my bike was Josh. This is a memory I will cherish forever, and it reminds us all that the small acts of kindness and compassion can outshine our darker moments of weakness, frustration, and fear. I will always remember the compassion you showed me when I felt most vulnerable, and other classmates have shared similar stories. You're a mensch, a stand-up guy, no matter what kind of bad day we had, we all knew we could count on. Thank you for working Panopto and faithfully recording our lectures, which meant you had to faithfully attend all the lectures, so those of us who could not would not fall behind. Thank you for taking one for the team and always participating in class when the rest of us felt too nervous or brain dead to think. We are proud to call you a classmate and future colleague, and know you will continue to touch the lives of your patients as you have touched our own. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our student speaker, Mr. Joshua Rosenthal.
Hi, and thank you, Coco, for that wonderful introduction. Hello, George Washington University Physician Assistant Class of 2020. First, I just want to thank all of my classmates for the honor of delivering the student speech on our graduation day. It means a great deal to me that all of you didn't get sick of hearing me talk during our didactic year. On behalf of our class, I'd also like to thank our faculty for teaching us, guiding us, and supporting us through the difficult and spectacular journey of becoming a physician assistant. Lastly, thank you to all the friends and family out there watching. There's no way to put into words what the support of our loved ones has meant to all of us over these past 2 years. It seems like yesterday that we were all walking into Ross Hall for our first day of orientation. I can still recall finding my seat in Ross 201 and thinking, wow, what spacious accommodations. I remember how excited we all were to introduce ourselves to one another, and none of us will ever forget how well-dressed AFTAB was. We are all different people now, and not just because of the knowledge and training we have received. Our fortitude was tested, and at times we were pushed to our breaking points. Reaching this graduation was one of the hardest things any of us has had to do. And life didn't stop along the way. Through PA school, we have endured personal hardships, such as new medical conditions, surgeries, family emergencies, and lost loved ones. Not to mention this whole global pandemic. We have caught each other in the hallways in tears, comforted one another, and pulled each other up. When I lost my mother-in-law, the incredible response of love and support from all of you gave my family a bright spark during an incredibly dark time. But it hasn't been all doom and gloom. We've made lifelong friends, we've gotten engaged, we've gotten married, and one of us even welcomed a baby boy into the world. Congratulations, Gerald, wherever you are out there, and welcome to the PA Dad Club. We've been there to celebrate each other, to cheer each other on, and to amplify each other's joy. Clearly, we are more than just classmates. We are family. This may be the last time that we are all together, albeit virtually. So take a moment to look around or scroll around and remember your PA sisters and brothers before venturing out on your new path as a medical provider. As many of you know, my daughter was born 2 months prior to the start of PA school. Raising a brand new human while becoming a brand new PA has afforded me a unique experience that I'm grateful to be able to share with you today. The amount of growth and development that occurs within a child's first 2 years of life is astounding. I am sure that our faculty would agree that the amount of growth and development that occurs within a PA student from end to end is almost equally incredible. It occurred to me early on in our PA journey that my daughter and all of us were walking parallel roads. As Gabriella said her first words, we were completing our first physical exams in the class center. As my daughter began to eat and drink on her own, we began digesting real clinical medicine in our fall semester. When Gabby took her first steps, we took our first steps into clinical practice as we began our rotations. Watching these parallel stories, I learned a lot. And while these lessons may not be new to you, I want to spend my time here with you today to highlight them before we go our separate ways into professional practice. First, appreciate how far your skills and knowledge have come. I learned early on that I entered PA school much like my daughter entered the world. Newborns don't know a thing, except maybe how to eat, pee, and poop. And they really aren't even that good at sleeping. But they do possess an incredible ability to learn. They're eager to experience the new world around them, and they push themselves to master new skills. That's how we began. We had some basic understandings, but each of us was equipped with an insatiable drive to learn, and we were ready to push ourselves. Now look at us. Tasks that were once difficult, like a history and physical or interpreting diagnostics, are rudimentary. I remember the struggle of our first semester and how now we can apply that knowledge while engaging with other providers, seeing several patients in a row, creating differentials, and administering care without a second thought. Second, we are PA toddlers. We still have so much farther to go. Gabrielle will continue to learn. One day she will play sports, do calculus, go off to college, and maybe attend her own white coat ceremony one day. Our achievement of graduating is only the beginning, as we too have boundless potential laying ahead of us as we begin our new careers. I know amazing accomplishments are in the future of this class. We will lead research teams, help devise new therapies for our patients, head professional organizations, and teach future students. I can't wait to see what kind of PAs we all grow up to be. Third, don't forget the fundamentals. Just as my daughter has mastered the fundamentals of coordination, communication, and independence that she will need for the rest of her life, we have mastered the foundational skills that we will need to succeed each and every day for our medical lives. These skills are essential to good practice, and we must not abandon them. And I do believe I'm quoting every faculty member when I say, don't forget the importance of a good history and physical. Finally, I want to share a personal reflection from the last 2 years. As a parent and former educator, I hope and believe that what I'm about to say holds true for our faculty as well. After all, they've really been our PA parents over the last 2 years. I want so much success for my daughter. I want Gabriella to grow up to break records, acquire accolades, and be as smart and successful as I know that she can be. But what matters most is that she is a good person. She bring out the best in others, and that she work to make the world a better place. I hope she will be empathetic, kind, understanding, compassionate, and embody the best of what it means to be human. I know that each of us is going to be successful. We will become excellent providers, and we will save lives along the way. But we also owe it to ourselves and our patients to rise to the challenge of being empathetic, kind, understanding, and compassionate providers each and every day. To really listen to our patients, to validate their concerns, and to work hand in hand with them to heal them. We must embody the best of what it means to be a physician assistant. I say this without a single doubt that each and every one of us will do just that. I know that I was not around out of sight of class these past few years as much as I wanted to be. But like I said, I had a kid at home. But know that I've always been in awe of you, my fellow classmates, your poise, your intelligence, your kind hearts, and your limitless potential. So we did it. We reached the end of this speech and the end of our PA education. What happens next is up to us. Now more than ever, the future of healthcare seems scary and uncertain. But knowing who's coming to join the fight, I'm not worried at all. Good luck, everyone. Thank you again for this opportunity. I'm going to miss you all.
Thank you, Joshua, for sharing that analogy between your growth as a PA student and your daughter's milestones over the last 2 years. It truly sounds like you and your fellow classmates have created a family, but also keep in mind that you will always be members of the GWPA family. At this time, Tatum Little, a 2020 graduate and Student Health Policy Fellow of the Physician Assistant Education Association, will introduce our keynote speaker.
All right. Congresswoman Karen Bass represents the 37th District of Los Angeles, which is my hometown. Before her time in Congress, she attended USC's Physician Assistant Program, after which she was among the first PAs to work in LA County's Emergency Department, which is a level 1 trauma center. Before we were discussing the social determinants of health in academia, Karen Bass was feeling their magnitude at every ED shift. It was the 1980s. Los Angeles was rocked by crack cocaine, gang violence, and the aftershock that came with it. A flood of mass incarceration and a tide of unsuspecting children catapulted into the foster care system. Instead of treating patients at their most vulnerable in the emergency department, Bass considered a community-centered approach to the social fault lines that lay deep beneath the crack cocaine epidemic. In 1990, she worked with teachers, fellow healthcare workers, and other community leaders to establish the Community Coalition, affectionately known as the COCO. It was Bass's efforts with the COCO that helped community-owned small businesses rise from the ashes of burned down liquor stores following the 1980 riots in Los Angeles.
But there's overlap.
Instead of treating patients with the COCO's community organization model has been studied and replicated by organizations nationwide. An EDPA planted a seed for the rose that grew from a crack in the concrete. During the Great Recession of 2008, Karen Bass was elected Speaker of the California Assembly. She was the first African-American woman and the first PA to hold the office. As a seasoned emergency department PA from a level 1 trauma center, Karen Bass used her calm bedside manner to reach across the aisle, negotiate difficult situations, allay fears, and help resuscitate the California economy when the rest of us just wanted to vasovagal. In 2010, she was elected to the 112th US Congress. Not only is she the first physician assistant elected to Congress, she was also the first to sponsor legislative bills that specifically advocate for PA education. In addition, she's also the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. She advocates for criminal justice, adoption, and foster care reforms, among others. GW prepares us to be PAs, but not just PAs. We are GW PAs. May we uphold the same values that GW has instilled in us and that Karen Bass has modeled. Like Karen Bass, may we consider ourselves public servants who value a team-based approach. May we be guided by our conscience and our training, but keep in mind the conscience and the values of our patients. May we be level-headed and use evidence to deliver compassionate, equitable, patient-centered care as we were taught to. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Karen Bass, PA and Congresswoman for the 37th District of Los Angeles, California.
Please, everyone, turn your videos off. Representative Bass had to be in Congress at the moment and has sent us a video that we are about to play.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for affording me the opportunity of participating in your white coat ceremony. I wish we were all together for this important rite of passage in your career, but like the rest of the nation and the world for that matter, we are all learning to function and celebrate life events in a new way. I want to congratulate your leadership for leading such an outstanding program. I've learned that your board passage rate is close to 100%. And if there was ever a time we needed you, it is now. Now here's a little pressure for you. It's my hope that all of you pass your exams and join in the front lines of the fight against COVID-19. It is also a delight to connect again with my friend and colleague, Dr. Straker. We both graduated around the same time and started our careers while the nation was experiencing an epidemic. A new mysterious disease, a pneumonia that seemed to only affect gay men. There was a great stigma attached to the disease, as you can imagine. There was not the enlightened acceptance of different lifestyles or acceptance of different sexual preferences. There was fear and panic within the medical profession. We didn't know how the virus was transmitted, so we didn't know how to protect ourselves. Straight America watched from a distance because the disease did not infect them. They thought it wasn't their problem. Later, we learned straight America wasn't so straight after all. We watched national leaders refuse to act. Out of ignorance, refer to the virus as the gay plague. Something must be wrong with the people who did get sick, their lifestyle. And some went so far, national leaders now who believed and might still believe to this day that HIV was a punishment from God for same-sex relationships. For the first couple of years of the epidemic, President Reagan never uttered the word AIDS. In his 8 years as president, over 80,000 people died of the virus. I know many of you probably thought that this moment in history was the first time we've had national leaders respond to a health issue with such ignorance. It's not. Except I don't remember a suggestion of using bleach or infusing disinfectant, but you get the point. What we are facing now, the COVID-19 pandemic, led to life around the world changing dramatically, almost overnight. At the beginning of the AIDS epidemic, it was viewed as a problem of a marginalized population. COVID deaths are disproportionately impacting marginalized populations. Fortunately, there are two population categories that garner universal empathy: first responders and nursing home residents. 80,000 people died in 8 years from HIV. Over 80,000 people died in 2 months from COVID-19. Low-income workers, prisoners, immigrants in detention centers, and communities of color do not garner the same level of empathy. And therefore, some leaders have openly appeared to accept that some people will die, but we cannot allow the cure to be worse than the disease, whatever that means. We have to tolerate some people dying, but we cannot tolerate an economic depression, which is ignorance, because if you do not contain, manage, and solve the public health problem, we will certainly have an economic depression. So public health recommendations are being ignored, and unfortunately by authority figures in the media and politicians who promote conspiracy theories and unproven cures, and thousands of people are following all along. So what does all of this have to do with the class of 2020? What does this have to do with—
I can learn to understand you much better if I can get familiar with the way you talk. I need your—
Produce, and I read what each of you plan to do after graduation. Although it was many years ago, I remember how intense PA school was. When I graduated, I was 7 months pregnant. I saw your desire to take vacations, have wedding ceremonies, but sadly at this time, you might not be able to celebrate as we would have in the past. By the way, a shout out to all the Californians. Hurry up and go home. We need you in Cali. After you have taken a much-deserved break and you begin your practice as a PA, your role as a health educator is so vitally important right now. In this world of confusion and misinformation, as we watch leaders use their bully pulpit to deliberately spread false information, you are leaders as well. Please assume that role and challenge the nonsense. Help your patients understand that public health guidelines are not infringing on their constitutional rights, but are needed to control and defeat the pandemic. And finally, as you go about the next stage of your life, please understand that politics makes the world go round, and health, unfortunately, is a very political issue. And we are watching the politics of health play out right now. Today, as I prepare to vote on a $2 trillion bill that expands testing and treatment for COVID, again, what does this have to do with the PA profession? Well, politics determines your scope of practice as state laws govern your ability to prescribe medications, to do certain procedures. In my opinion, though, the PA profession has suffered from a lack of political engagement. While it has been many years since I was a practicing PA, I do enjoy the privileged position of promoting legislation that impacts the profession, but I am very rarely approached to do that. I actually never aspired to be an elected official. Running for office evolved from many years of community activism. I moved away from the profession when a trio of epidemics hit communities: HIV and addiction to crack cocaine and violence associated with this drug problem. Sadly, we criminalized addiction and did not address the underlying health, social, and economic drivers of the problem. Ironically, many of the people incarcerated then because of their addiction are the same people we are now fighting for their release from prison, as prisons are petri dishes for the virus. I wanted to address the root causes of these health problems, and this led to my involvement in changing policy that eventually led to public office. I am now working with one of my former classmates who is running for office in Arizona. PAs have to get involved for our profession to continue to grow. Dr. Straker and I graduated at a historical moment that changed the way we all lived our lives. And you are graduating at a historical moment that absolutely will change your life. When the graduating class of 2020 hits the scene, I am hopeful you will become involved in today's policy debates. One of the many policy areas we need to address is the cost of PA education. Many of you expressed in your videos the need to get to work quickly so you can pay off your loans. I want to pass legislation that says if you serve in an underserved area, your loans should be forgiven. If you join the fight against COVID where you put your life at risk, your loans should be forgiven. At GW, you learn to be critical thinkers, to look below the surface, to explore and understand the root cause of a problem, to not just respond because of emotion, but to respond because you have thought deeply and analyzed thoroughly. You do this as you decide to order tests and make a diagnosis. At GW, you learned accountability. No matter where you practice, you will always set high ethical and moral standards for yourself, and that you will hold yourself accountable to make sure you live up to those standards. At GW, I hope you learned about diversity. It is my hope you make a lifelong commitment to diversity. Diversity in every way. Diversity in thought, in experience, and diversity in the communities you create for yourself and for your families. And leadership, finally, the most important quality. Leadership skills and commitment are so needed in the world today. GW educates and trains the next generation of PA leaders. We need you to lead now as we travel on this epic journey together. We need your leadership. Congratulations, graduates. Take a break and then go help and heal the world. Thank you.
Students, if you would like to turn your videos back on, thank you very much.
Wow, that was thought-provoking. That was an amazing speech. Thank you so much, Representative Bass. As a fellow PA, we are very much appreciative of having a representative in Congress who advocates for both our profession and our healthcare system. We also appreciate all you do to promote and protect global health and human rights. In class of 2020, I hope you were listening because she charged you to be our future leaders, and we need you. So as I mentioned in my opening remarks, the members of the class of 2020 have achieved many individual and collective accomplishments that are very much worthy of recognition. However, each year we recognize 2 students who have demonstrated exemplary leadership and/or service. Professor Erica Bramlett, Co-Director of Clinical Education, will recognize our first Outstanding PA Student Awardee.
Hello, class of 2020. So for our first awardee, I will say these words. Throughout her matriculation at GW, our first awardee has displayed a strong motivation to learn in both the classroom and the clinical setting. She consistently demonstrated outstanding professional and interpersonal qualities, including compassion, dependability, resilience, and the ability to work well with faculty, fellow classmates, and members of the healthcare team. Over the past 2 years, we've watched this student successfully overcome challenges while continuing to demonstrate outstanding leadership and a personal commitment to serve others. Her commitment began long before PA school. After completing her undergraduate degree in political science, our awardee quickly realized that her intended career path in law was not aligned with her longstanding desire to be a healthcare provider. She therefore began working in hospitals located in urban underserved communities where she engaged in patient advocacy activities and volunteered on hospital committees. For the first few days at GW, her leadership and dedication to serving her classmates, community, and the PA profession was evident. She was selected by her classmates to serve as co-president of the James K. Tolton Society, the GW student chapter of AAPA. As faculty advisor for the Tolton Society, I had the opportunity to observe her lead by example as she helped her classmates recognize and participate in service activities throughout the DC metro area. She also attended the PAEA Leadership and Advocacy Summit, where she met with representatives on Capitol Hill about key legislation to advance PA's ability to deliver care. After excelling in the classroom, our awardee truly thrived in the clinical setting. For her stellar performance on her inpatient medicine rotation, she was awarded the Student of the Block. But perhaps the most meaningful feedback came from the preceptor of her favorite rotation, pediatrics, who commented that not only was our awardee outstanding clinical acumen, She also had the ability to make quick connections with patients and truly understand their social challenges, which were faced by many of their patient population. As educators, we are confident that our students are prepared with the clinical knowledge and technical skills that they need during their rotations and as practicing clinicians. But we are especially proud to hear about the exceptional and tangible qualities as they represent the GW program with patients and community colleagues. So today's awardee has provided a wonderful example of what it means to be a PA to her classmates and to our faculty, who are proudly welcoming her into us as a colleague. Her classmates know her as the student most likely to frequent Whole Foods in the morning and in afternoons for a beverage, to participate in spoken word at Busboy and Poets, to end a stressful day at Truth, or to spend quality time with her wife, Sierra, and her dogs, Sebastian and Zoe. So it is my pleasure to present this award on behalf of the GWPA program to Ms. Erica Chambers.
Dr. Sean Robinson, Director of Didactic Education, will recognize our second awardee. And students, I want to remind you, for graduates, to please share your video with us.
Thank you, Dr. Wright. This year's co-recipient of the Outstanding PA Student Award is a friend to us all. Her job as a student did not end with the work typified of the busy PA student. No, she extended her role to many in the class and faculty and staff too, as friend, confidant, listener, supporter, promoter, and healer. For this, she truly is outstanding and should be recognized. For most of her time at GW, she was a long way from home. Family and friends are a big part of her life, and as I'm sure many of you experience, PA school does not seem to make that separation any easier. But she has grit, she has stamina, and she has an outstanding attitude on life that has kept her going strong through ups and downs for the last 2 years. Soon to be back on her home turf, she now seems even more determined to move forward in life, uncovering outstanding opportunities to becoming the PA that she's always wanted to be. Her roommates, fellow PA graduates gathered with us today in this virtual auditorium, will miss her FaceTime calls made from her bedroom, a mere feet away from their own location in the same house. Her strategy at not breaking stride in the marathon of endless studying. Her roommates will also miss her good intentions of baking cookies for them, but never quite making it to the oven. They also thoughtfully point out that through their efforts over the last 2 years, she has gradually accepted that the onion is indeed an edible food item. It seems unsurprising that she is the social media representative for the PA program. It's in her nature. The connection, the networking, the ability to make others feel included, part of the troop that's trying to beat this battle called PA school. I would say, and many would agree, battle won, and special thanks to her for bringing everyone together to make it happen in an outstanding way. And finally, as you have most likely seen in the white coat video, she can spin mighty cartwheels around all of us. Please join me in congratulating this year's co-recipient of the Outstanding PA Student Award, Emily Massett.
Wow, congratulations, Erica and Emily, for your outstanding service to your peers and the program. We are greatly appreciative of all you have done for us over the past 2 years. You definitely deserve to be recognized for your efforts. It is my pleasure to introduce Professor Karen Schlumpf, who serves as the president of the Alpha Eta chapter here at George Washington University, to recognize the Alpha Eta inductees.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure every year to come and celebrate with you all. Many years ago, when I started off in teaching as an adjunct, I taught PAs for many years, and it's always one of my favorite group of students to teach. Just a little bit about Alpha Eta. It is a National Honor Society for Health Science Professionals. Our aim is the promotion and recognition of significant scholarship, leadership, and contributions to the health professions. To be eligible for induction into this honor society, Graduates will have performed academically in the top 20% of their class. In addition, they will have exhibited leadership qualities and demonstrated a commitment to community service. As the chapter president, it is my honor to acknowledge the graduate inductees from the GW Physician Assistant Program Class of 2020. As I call your name, feel free to do a little queen wave or a double-handed wave, and congratulations to you all. Allison Boyd, Lamya Chugtai, Bradley Cundiff, Aaron Flannelly, Joel Hagstrom, Christine Hedstrom, Joshua Rosenthal, Rory Rushkovich, Kristen Shanakey, Shumna Shahid, Ryan Strasser, Tara Trenely, and Jacqueline Watts. Again, everybody shake your hands and congratulations.
Thank you, Professor Slum, for the Alpha Eta chapter for recognizing the academic achievements of these 13 individuals. Before we finally recognize the class of 2020, Dr. Susan LeLacheur will share with you the significance of the white coat. This is going to be particularly challenging for Dr. LeLacheur. You know she uses very flowery language, and we have limited her speech to 2 minutes.
Let's see if I can pull that off. The first year I was asked to speak about the meaning of the white coat was 2002. 9/11 was fresh in our minds, and it was easy to relate the symbolism of the white coat to the symbols that surround us in this beautiful city of Washington, D.C. The symbols that terrorists had sought to destroy that year. This is a very different time. The mundane meaning of the white coat as the original PPE seems paramount, while its meaning as a symbol of all the learning you've achieved in the last 2 years seems dwarfed by the enormity of the challenge we're all facing as you enter the force that will care for this wounded world. And yet never has its deeper meaning been more critical, not as a symbol of knowledge, but as a symbol of service. Each of us is now called upon to serve our families, our neighbors, our communities, and our world, as we join in caring for one another through this most difficult time. You now join the few who can do so in the clinical care of patients. Your white coat symbolizes your dedication to that care. In 1987, when I began work focused on people with HIV and AIDS, we had one flawed medication, and yes, Tony Fauci, and my patients were dying. My 2 years of PA school had not prepared me to treat them, but it had prepared me to care, to help them carry the unbearable load. Today, science is moving so much faster, it's startling, and soon there will be treatments and vaccines, largely because of work done by luminaries like Tony Fauci, and even by foot soldiers like me. What we did back then paved the way for what will happen now. Your white coat gives you the privilege to join in today's efforts with your hearts and your hands to do your very best. If you do that, some of your patients will survive and some will not, but all of them will be better for your having touched their lives, as I am for your having touched mine. Thank you.
And Deborah, we will hear from Dr. Herman, who will start the processional. And thank you so much, Dr. LeLacheur.
Great. We will get started in just a moment. Okay, Brian Arita. Ryan Wayne Barr. Andrew Brownlee Bathe. Rachel Abigail Berzon. Andrea Benley. Jeremy Nathan Birch. Christopher Lawrence Bokey. Allison Boyd, Emily Calloway, Alyssa Danielle Carey, Grady Gerald Carter, Erica R. Chambers, Lamya Chugtai, Kayla Ann Sinker, Bradley Scott Cundiff, Reem Hussein El-Zazi, Daniel Nicholas Fettig, Aaron Flannelly, Ellen Foley, Matthew Daniel Franz, Alexandra Sue Frazier, Tawny Lee Freeman, Rachel Catherine Friedel, Krista Nicole Gardner, Gerald Joseph Gahn, Young Ron Gibson, Garnetta Gonzalez, Jacob Isaac Gordon, Joel Matthew Hagstrom, Rachel Ann Hart, Christine Genevieve Hedstrom, Paul James Kincaid, Karishma Blakani,
Evie Joy Landa Began, Rebecca Yejin Lee, Stephanie Mara Liss, Tatum Little, Enrique Manriquez, Emily Louise Massid, Carly Jean Moss, Kelly Maureen Murray, Ashley Lynn Niels, Patrick James North, Fanny Oak, Alyssa Marie Ortega, Joshua Ryan Pan, Hannah Ward Peoples, Joshua Kyle Rosenthal, Jana Victoria Rupley, Rory Mack Ruskovich, Kristen M. Shaneke, Cody James Schrouder, Suman Shahid, Aftab D. Sheikh, Sarah Rostatter Stepanian, Ryan Fitzpatrick Strasser, Robert Patrick Strasser, Sosie Tartarian, Trenton Todd Thielen, Josiane Arisi Tosa, Tara Trenholm, Trenhale. Laura Morgan Turk. Jacqueline Ann Watts. Tina Vygotsky. Genevieve Elise Wyrick. Jialu Lucy Young. Please unmute so we can provide a round of applause to the class.
Let's go.
Cody Schroeder.
Boy, done graduated.
Congrats.
What's her plan? Applying to like, I'm so excited.
Yeah. Bramlett.
Smack that. It's such a good
We are unbeatable.
Dogs are freaking out right now.
So funny. Something.
I'm so proud of my sister.
Are we unmuted?
Lily Boyd!
I'm my boy
Oh my gosh.
Coke. I am going, JoJo.
Cheers.
At this time, Dr. Deborah Herman will.
Can we get back home? Yes.
Hi, everybody. Okay, class of 2020.
Cheers!
Cheers. All right. I invite you all to turn on your video and put on your white coats. Woohoo!
You want me to get
I want to see those coats go on.
Game over.
At this time, Dr. Deborah Herman will.
Aaron.
I don't know if it's I did feel great.
To go running.
I got my
Want to see those coats go on.
game over.
Okay, if everyone will please grab a copy of the program and turn to the back where it says the physician assistant oath.
Cheers.
Okay.
Do you want me to go give it? No. It's gonna take 2 seconds.
All right. And we are going to ask you to please turn on your videos and unmute your mics as we recite the oath together. I will say the line, then I ask you to repeat it. You guys ready? Somebody give me a nod.
We're doing an oath.
Okay.
Go over here. Don't look like an AirPod.
Get a little chaotic.
Maybe she has
Go.
a fake one. Okay.
Say a word.
Okay, again, we're gonna do this line by line. You repeat.
Oh my God,
Ready?
just find it. Dang.
Here we go. I pledge to perform the following duties with honesty.
Jackie's dad's
patience.
featured. That's your dad.
Pledge to perform the following
duties
duties
with honesty and dedication.
Responsibility to health, welfare,
I
and
will
dignity of
hold
all.
as my primary responsibility the health, safety, wellness, and dignity of all human beings.
Behold is my primary responsibility the health, safety, welfare, and dignity of all human beings.
Duties with honesty and dedication.
Hold the tenets of patient autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, and justice. Go.
Will uphold
I will uphold
The tenets of patient autonomy,
beneficence,
non-maleficence,
and justice.
It is my primary responsibility the
I will
health,
recognize
safety,
and promote the
welfare,
value
and
of
dignity
diversity.
all human beings.
I will
Recognize and promote
the value of diversity.
I will treat equally all persons who seek my care.
I will uphold the tenets of patient autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, and justice.
I will hold in confidence the information shared in the course of practicing medicine.
I will recognize and promote the value of diversity.
Shared in the course of practicing medicine. Shared in the course of practicing medicine.
Will assess my
I will
personal
treat equally
capabilities,
all persons
limitations,
who seek my care.
is to improve my medical practice.
I will assess my personal capabilities, limitations,
Having
always
ways
to
to
improve
improve
my
my medical practice. Actively seek to expand my knowledge and skills, keeping abreast of advances in medicine.
Will
actively seek to expand my knowledge and skills, keeping abreast of
Advances in medicine.
I will work with other members of the healthcare team to provide compassionate and effective care of patients.
I will work with other members of the healthcare team to provide compassionate and effective care of patients.
Will use my knowledge and experience to contribute to an improved community.
I will
use my knowledge and experience to contribute to an improved
community.
I will respect my professional relationship with the
The
physician.
healthcare team to provide
Respect
compassionate and
Respect my
effective
professional relationship with the physician.
Will share and expand knowledge within the profession.
I will share and expand knowledge within the profession.
and experience to
These
contribute to
duties
an
are
improved
pledged with
community.
sincerity and upon my honor.
These duties are pledged with sincerity
And
and
upon my honor.
Congratulations, class of 20. So proud of you.
Respect my professional relationship with the physician. I will share and expand knowledge within the profession.
Thank you, everybody. Wow.
Okay.
These duties are pledged with sincerity and upon my honor.
All right. Class of 2020.
He's one of our professors. I was muted.
PAs are a part of the healthcare fabric of our nation. The PA faculty, clinical adjuncts, our dedicated preceptors, and others in the medical field have equipped you with the knowledge and skills to begin the next step towards your journey to professional practice. Always remember that as a physician assistant, you have been entrusted to provide competent, humanistic care to your patients. Remember the oath that you have just recited, and each day, remember how special your relationships are with your patients, their families, and your healthcare team. Your charge is to continue to support and practice the GW PA program mission. Continue to demonstrate clinical excellence, embrace diversity, equity, and inclusion, advocate for your patients, lead and advance the profession, and serve your communities. Face each day with optimism and a promise to provide equitable, compassionate, and evidence-based care. Be ever present. Remember that every patient encounter, procedure, meeting, loss, joy, and challenge will shape you as a clinician and make you a better human. We are immensely proud of you and expect great things from you in the very near future. We are confident that you will make a significant contribution to the profession and the communities that you will serve. Go out and make a difference in the quality of care you provide your patients one patient at a time. Please keep in touch, and hopefully you will pay it forward and serve as a preceptor to a future student who also has dreams of becoming a PA. We are so very proud of you, class of 2020. As I told you earlier in the week, you have handled this pandemic with grace and flexibility and understanding. And I am confident that you will perform your duties in the same way. So let us give one final round of applause to the class of 2020. Please unmute your mics and make sure that your videos are shared. So proud of you.
You
guys.
Oh, shush! Oh my God!
Amazing.
So, this has been videotaped, and make sure that your videos are available on the celebration website, so that even if your family was looking at it through the live feed on YouTube, they'll be able to see, because of Zoom, they'll be able to see your individual.
If we did it according to that video instead of this one, it would be so bad.
This concludes our
Well, that's